in this material realm, we take on a certain identity in order to function. And that identity is what's called the ego. And the ego is kind of like a shadow, not the shadow persona archetype, but it's kind of like a shadow because we have different personalities or identities based on the person that we interact with. Right now, we're having this conversation. There's a particular persona I embody. When I have a conversation with my parents, I'm a son to them. There's a particular personality that I embody. When there's a conversation I have with my clients, my wife, particular persona, identity that I embody. Beyond all of those personas and identities, there is the I am, the pure beingness that is uncolored, that is transparent. When this transparent I am, the quality of attentional witnessing, there is an object placed in front of it, it becomes the object because it's transparent. Right? So because of that, we can function in this world. Unfortunately, though, for most people, the distinction between witness I am and I am this, there's no separation. Therefore, there is suffering. If I am this, I will always suffer because this is temporary. But if I am, and this is simply happening, and there's always a distance between the two, that is the end of suffering. This body will pass. This mind will pass. Everything, this is a loan that I've taken from the earth. This too shall pass. But this I am, this witnessing always was. Even when you were 4 or 5 years old, when you could witness and have that sense of awareness, that same awareness was, that same awareness is, simply the body has changed. Right? The body has just changed. And it always will be. And that awareness and watching that is within me is the same as it is within you. We have that same witnessing. However, different bodies, different personas, the world is, as the yogis would call it, Maya. It's an illusion. And it operates in yin and yang, black or white, and dual. There's a dual nature to life. And so to traverse through this duality, one of the greatest lessons I had to learn is life isn't black or white. There's always a gray area. There is no one absolute truth here. Not in this material world. There is one absolute truth. I am. There's existence. Everything else is relative to it. So as long as we deal with matters of this world, we choose to embody an identity that's something that's been chosen, that's been cultivated. Now, the identity that we cultivate, it is preferable that it matches our karmic destiny. So when we get deeper into that, you understand that there are certain tendencies that this character has that is really difficult to fight against. You know how they say there is nature versus nurture? It's best when we nurture what is in our nature instead of fighting what's in our nature. Like, for example, if you're an analytical type, it would be futile to try to mesh you into a non-analytical, more of an artistic type. That's not your natural tendency. That's not the womb that you're born in, like the kind of body that you've taken up, the soul that's taken on this body. That's not, but the I am is beyond all of that. So there's different layers to all of this stuff. And only when I look at, study yogic teachings, read the Upanishads, read all these texts, I could sort of understand it, but also just combine that with experience. So when people say oh, is free will real? Or is there free will, or is it all fate? Both. It's both. There is free will within fate. There is fate within free will. There is no one absolute truth. They're all true. Right? So everything is it's all relative. There's no one ultimate model of reality. They're all true. And so with every single conspiracy theory, it's just a matter of time when it becomes real. Like when Jules Verne wrote 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This was way before that was even a reality. A couple centuries later, or maybe a century later, they made the submarine. They really went 30,000 leagues under the sea. So, everything is just, anything that's fiction is just a matter of time until it becomes nonfiction. So it's all real. It just hasn't come into manifestation or fruition yet.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.